they called this show Raw in your face. That's stupid and mean. In your face, dude.
Emphasis on business. We don't do charity work.
Did you guys enjoy this episode of Raw? You were supposed to, because WWE called it Raw in your face. In your face with 3 hours of entertainment. I mean, I guess it was kinda stacked. We got Drew McIntyre versus Keith Lee, a steel cage match. It wasn't that bad. But by the 3rd hour, you can have Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Hulk Hogan as The Rock as special guest referee. You're not gonna care. It's nap time, bitch. The show kicked off with Drew McIntyre, and this really disappointed me because I've lost a lot of interest in Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. So basically, Drew McIntyre says, I don't know if Randy Orton is gonna be at Clash of Champions, but if we're going to get Randy Orton, this is gonna be an ambulance match. First of all, he spoiled the whole ending of the match on Monday Night Raw, because if Keith Lee defeats Drew McIntyre, Keith Lee faces Drew McIntyre in an ambulance match. Why would Keith Lee face Drew McIntyre in an ambulance match? So it was basically spoiled. But that's not the problem I have. Dude, I love this rivalry, I wanna see the match, but now it's an ambulance match. Come on. Like, this type of serious match doesn't need such a terrible stipulation. It's one of the worst match stipulations we ever got, in my opinion. I was never a big fan. Winning in an ambulance match doesn't mean anything. And it's not like the ending of an ambulance match is anything spectacular. It's not a ladder match, it's not a tables match. It's an ambulance match. It's even more boring than it sounds. But whatever the case may be, that was Drew McIntyre's announcement. And it was actually announced by Adam Pearce that if Keith Lee wins the match, he is going to face Drew McIntyre instead of Randy Orton. Adam Pearce is acting like a general manager, so why don't you just announce him as a general manager? I mean, why not at this point? So we got that promised champions versus champions match, the Street Profits versus Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura, Raw champions versus SmackDown Tag Champions. It was pretty decent in my opinion. I actually expected Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura to win, but they actually lost. So they decided to bring SmackDown Tag Team Champions to Raw just to lose. Whatever, man. The Street Profits won, and I'm pretty sure I know where this is going. Basically, the Street Profits won this match on SmackDown. They're gonna lose to Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura, and they're gonna be like, okay, dude, one more match, Clash of Champions, both titles on the line. All 4 of them. At the end of the day, both tag teams don't have challengers, so I'm pretty sure this is where WWE are going with this. Ricochet versus Cedric Alexander was pretty awesome. Imagine what kind of match it would be if WWE had no limits, no limitations, if they just said, just do your thing. But, you know, it is what it is. It was still pretty decent in my opinion, and Cedric Alexander won the match. We saw the Hurt Business celebrating, and then we got Retribution basically saying, we were actually in the WWE Performance Center, but it didn't lead to anything, whatever. Basically, yes, they are. Some of them are from NXT, some of them are from Performance Center. Basically, WWE's rejects. Yeah, what a faction. I'm not gonna lie, people, it's hard to care about them. I still hope they're gonna have a leader. And what I mean by that is a well-known WWE name. The Hurt Business did not appreciate the interruption, so they decided to take care of this. Which is kinda interesting. They're a heel faction, but what they did at the end of the show was actually pretty badass and made the faction look so much more legit. I don't even know what to say about this match. Man, we got the Raw Women's Championship match, Mickie James versus the champion Asuka. And it's not like the match was great or anything like that, but people are talking about this controversial ending. There are many different scenarios. Mickie James lost the match, and it seemed like she didn't even know what was the finish. As you can see in that picture, she was very confused by what happened right here. And I believe what happened is that the referee thought that Mickie James got injured, so he was like, okay, that's it, let's call for the bell. And Mickie James was like, no, I'm not. Many people are saying she injured her shoulder, and maybe she did, but it's not as serious. Whatever the case may be, man, this looked weird. This looked pretty awkward. The only response we got from Mickie James on Instagram and Twitter was not like this, with a broken heart emoji. So whatever the case may be, man, this was pretty bad. After the match, we got Selena Vega, who apparently wants a title shot. She's sick of managing Andrade and Angel Garza. She's tired of it. She's tired of them basically arguing all the time. And I believe she wants a title shot. And actually, I think that's a great idea. Selena Vega kind of reminds me of AJ Lee, so there's a lot of potential. I haven't seen much of Selena Vega in the ring, but when it comes to her personality and on the microphone, she's unbelievable. We got Bobby Lashley versus Eric. I don't know why. 3 hours of Raw, I guess. Anyway, Bobby Lashley wins the match. Raw Underground, man, I don't like talking about Raw Underground because I don't like it at all. I think it's absolutely horrendous, it's boring, it's terrible, repetitive, it's dog shit basically. They don't know what to do with Braun Strowman to the point that he went to Raw to be in Raw Underground. Yeah, he was like, you know what? I'm gonna work on Mondays. I don't even care at this point. Yeah, this was horrible. And I mean, next week we're getting this match, which looks pretty big, but is it gonna be good? I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be bad. That's a spoiler, yeah. It's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. Seth Rollins tells Murphy to stay in the locker room. He was pretty aggressive about it. But once we got the match, the steel cage match between Dominic Mysterio and Seth Rollins, we actually did get Buddy Murphy. He got Seth Rollins a kendo stick, and Seth Rollins actually appreciated that until we got Rey Mysterio trying to help Dominic. Buddy takes out Mysterio but didn't saw that Seth Rollins is trying to get out of the cage. So he smashed the door into Seth Rollins' head unintentionally, and this basically cost Seth Rollins the match, almost cost him the match. Whatever, the match continues until Seth Rollins actually takes the W, and then you can see Seth Rollins basically kissing Buddy Murphy, and he was like, thank you, it's all good, until it wasn't. So he basically destroyed Buddy Murphy. Like this was actually pretty rough. As much as I do believe that Buddy Murphy has a lot of potential and I really want to see that rivalry, what's pretty weird is that why would he care that much about being Seth Rollins' lackey? Like at this point, you're basically being attacked every single week. Are you that much of a loser? Just hit him back, dude. It basically paints him as a loser, and I don't really appreciate that. I kind of like the segment between Drew McIntyre and Keith Lee. Keith Lee almost touched the championship. Drew was like, don't do it, man, don't do it. Don't do it because Drew is not appreciating it. But he did, and we got this. I gotta say, that is the best punch I've ever seen in my entire life. So they brawled for, I don't know, 5 hours of Raw, and yeah, until they got into the match. We also got Kevin Owens versus Aleister Black, which for some reason doesn't feel special at all, man. Like, I don't know, Aleister Black, is Aleister Black one of these dudes that needs to go back to NXT? I don't know at this point, but people running Raw have no idea what to do with the guy. At the end of the match, we got Retribution basically playing with the lights because they're so badass. We got a stunner and Kevin Owens won the match. We got Riot Squad versus Lana and Natalya, in which the Riot Squad won, and after the match we got Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler beating Lana and Natalya. Go figure. So then we got Drew McIntyre versus Keith Lee, which was actually pretty okay, but I gotta admit, man, the only thing I liked about this Raw was actually the ending, Drew McIntyre versus Keith Lee, and the steel cage match. I don't know, it wasn't that special. It shouldn't be called In Your Face because it was your regular Monday Night Raw. There was nothing different about it. I mean, I didn't feel a big difference. I'm currently watching Raw, SmackDown, and Dynamite, and I gotta say, man, Raw is just really tough to watch lately. Anyway, so the match continues until we got Retribution, and we got a lot of members because, you know, it's Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre. So they're basically beating the crap out of these two until we got the Hurt Business, which actually made them so badass. I just love when we have heels that are not cowards. I absolutely love that. So we got Retribution versus the Hurt Business, and then the show ends with Drew McIntyre and Keith Lee basically jumping on everyone. Yeah, whatever. So that ending was actually pretty great. Not necessarily because of Drew McIntyre and Keith Lee, but I just love the way the Hurt Business are being booked. And that was basically your Monday Night Raw. I wish I recorded with a camera, but I just really don't have time, man. It's already pretty late in Lithuania, and I gotta edit the video, so hopefully you guys still enjoyed it. The great one, peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.